you, Stacy. And good morning, boys and girls.
It's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Talk to me, baby.
Perfect cast. Don't let him fool you with that buddy act now. Under your thumb.
Your favorite papa. You're just jealous, man, because you ain't got the moves.
She sells by the seashells.
Yeah.
All right.
Seashells by the seashore.
Welcome.
Welcome back to a Goofy Movie Minute, the only podcast, I would say, that goes through a Goofy movie in single minutes.
I would say this is everyone's favorite and least favorite podcast about a Goofy movie.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Brienne.
And we have with us...
Miles.
Yes. Miles is here. And...
That's what makes it the perfect podcast.
The perfect podcast.
The perfect podcast.
And recently we went to the Movies by Minute convention in Denver, Colorado, and we met a lot of nice people. So if any of them are listening, I wanted to say a personal hello to you.
And I myself recently went to Tampa Bay Comic-Con down here where I am, and anyone I met there, here's a shout out to you people.
Minute 43 begins with Max and Goofy still talking in the car about soup.
And ends with a tender moment.
One of the movie's specific, gut-punching moments emotionally.
So as it starts out, they're continuing their conversation about alphabet soup, and Goofy says, "Used to spell things out using the letters.
Like Oi Dad, or Maxie, or...
Ambidextrous.
Yeah, that's... little words, you know.
Hasta la vista.
Like bye-bye.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Oh, I love you.
Oh, awkward.
Moments. Just that's when this movie hits you and you realize, man, this movie is working so much better than it should.
So Max is really interested in pretending that he knew longer words or words in other languages or whole phrases.
I was kind of wondering how long of a word he might be able to write using soup.
What's the surface? Is he
A
spiraling it around the cup?
Dashboard. You could put it across the dashboard. You know, if you try to research how many letters are in a can of alphabet soup, it's inconclusive. Yahoo Answers let me down.
It's like Scrabble. You're like, I don't have any vowels.
Someone on the internet said that in a can of SpaghettiOs, which is arguably alphabet soup, but only one letter. The internet said that there's 1,700 O's in a can of soup, which sounds like a lot. I don't think that's right. But
1,700?
Yeah.
They're
I
tiny.
don't think they're a real scientist.
Oh, maybe it's those little SpaghettiOs.
Oh.
You know those little ones?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Baby O's?
You want to hear something interesting, though, related to that?
No.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you anyway. There was a Guinness World Record set earlier this year, February 13th, 2018, for the fastest alphabetization of a can of soup.
Wow.
3 minutes and 21 seconds by Cody Jones.
Whoa, we know him.
We know a Cody Jones, but probably not that one.
Perhaps that record will have already been broken by the time people are listening to this. And maybe people could just do it on Twitch.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. You gotta lower those numbers.
Pour out their soup and try to do it on the live cam, and then people could donate money.
Sounds messy. I digress.
So ambidextrous means
both hands.
Yeah. You can use both hands, I think.
You can breathe underwater. And you said hasta la vista? Is that what he said?
I
Yes.
said
You said hasta.
As
Listen back. It's on tape.
Hasta la vista.
Anyway.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Yo hablo español.
Probably referencing the Terminator, but in Spanish it means until our next visit, right? Our view, till we see each other again.
Yeah.
Well, in this universe, it could be a reference not necessarily to the Terminator, but to his counterpart, the Discontinuator, played by Ronald Strudelnoscher, who guest starred who guest starred in one episode of Goof Troop.
The discontinuator. I like that.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Did he say that as well?
Well, I don't. Well, it was a parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger named Ronald Strudelnoscher, voiced by Jim Cummings, and PJ is like, "Oh man, I can't believe I missed my chance to meet the discontinuator."
Played by McBain.
And then at the end, after they help him out of a jam, he says, "I shall return. Hasta Luigi." You could tell Jim Cummings was having a blast with that little role, even though it was just a one-episode gag.
And then he goes into I Pledge Allegiance, which is a patriotic number we like to call the Pledge of Allegiance. But he's so excited. Like, he gets really jazzy. I pledge allegiance. Oh, when he says hasta la vista, he's like sitting up in his chair, crouching. And then when he says, I pledge allegiance, I swear that wasn't what he was supposed to say, because that's the one point where his words are not really syncing up with the animation of his mouth.
Oh.
Really?
I don't think so.
Could have just been an animation flub.
They started animating in French.
Maybe they started doing the French national anthem.
Oh.
Because it said, and then he starts saying the national anthem, and they're like, I got this. I don't need to look at it.
Okay. But it's nice that you mentioned Max being excited in this part, because this particular moment in the movie actually takes me back to the very first time I ever watched this film. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I had no idea it was a thing. This was a surprise to me, seeing a Goof Troop film. Watching the movie the first time, I see Max being all grouchy and irate towards his dad and irritated, and I'm like, what's going on? Why is he being like this towards his dad? Like, because in the show, he was a younger kid and he was fun-loving and liked his dad and enjoyed doing stuff with him. And now I see him older, and I was a little kid at the time, so I didn't understand how teenagers become when they reach this age. So this was all new to me. And so when I got to this point in the movie, seeing the two of them playing off each other happily like this, and then having that moment right after the I love you, this is the part where I was like, there he is. This is the Max that I know. This is the Max I know and love, and I've been waiting for him to come back all this time. So seeing this part here where the two of them are having fun and enjoying each other's company and having that moment of silence right after the I love you, that hit me. That really hit me right in the core.
That's true, because in this movie so far, he's only been really upbeat when he's talking to his friends.
He feels like he's gone too far, and Max is awkward, and they're both awkward and don't know what to say.
But luckily, they have Soup ready to distract them.
Oh, yeah.
So he says, is it soup yet? And he doesn't realize that it was always soup, man. It was soup. Soup's whatever you need it to be, no matter what temperature. And also, it has not been that long since the soup was put onto the cigarette lighter, but it is steaming hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Goofy almost forgot about the soup. It's been less than a minute, but he had a whole moment in between, so that makes sense.
The soup takes several moments to cook.
Funny you should mention that, because I have acquired scans of a Danish storybook adaptation of this movie and have personally translated the entire thing into English, and there's a part where they're talking about how long it would take to cook the soup on the cigarette lighter, and apparently the author hadn't actually watched the scene in the movie and was going off the pictures. So whoever wrote it had Goofy say that dinner is served in an hour's time, if we do this a few hundred times.
That's very realistic.
Yeah,
I could see that. Probably kill their battery, too.
It's definitely more realistic.
Ooh. Yeah. Usually cigarette lighters don't work in cars unless the keys are in them, because that's a heavy battery usage. If you're charging something with your phone, it will stop if you don't have the keys in your car, because it's powered by the cigarette lighter.
Cartoon logic.
This whole movie's garbage. No, just kidding.
That's it. I'm out.
That's the famous scene where Goofy pops the can open with his two big teeth.
Oh, yeah. That's where he shows his stuff.
It's kind of a frat boy trick. Wow.
You see, watch this at a party, and he just like bites sideways into a bottle of beer and puts two holes in the top, and it's like, oh, there's glass in my beer, and I don't know how to drink it sideways like this. And he'll be like, my dad taught me that.
It is that kind of trick, but since it's a kid's movie, my dad taught me that when we went to Yosemite.
His teeth are not that sharp.
I know, but it's because he opens so many cans of soup with them.
Oh, that's all he... That does it too much, maybe.
Yeah, it'll wear him down.
And the notion of Goofy's granddad, like, he's really given a lot of importance in this film. Like, Goofy mentions him a lot in reverence, and up until now, this is the first time that Max actually seems interested in learning about his family.
Well, now he realizes what he's been missing out on, kind of, by closing himself off to this experience.
Yeah.
So, do you happen to know, in this universe, is Grandpa Goof still around? Is he just in another state? Is he on a farm?
Well,
where he's very happy and running around?
Watching this movie by itself, the way Goofy talks about him in such reverence would probably lead someone to think that he's passed. But in one episode of Goof Troop, his Goofy's father, Max's grandpa, actually was mentioned in a present tense. Max was trying to get out of going to his dentist appointment by saying, "Grandpa never went to the dentist," and then Goofy said, "Grandpa doesn't have any teeth, Maxie."
Because he opened too many cans of soup.
Yeah. Yeah, and Goofy said doesn't, not didn't.
Yeah.
In fact,
because
later
he did obviously have teeth at one point.
Yeah.
Later in an episode of House of Mouse, we actually see Goofy's father working in the kitchen at the club. We see him in the kitchen, like, carving up some corn, and Goofy pops his head into the kitchen door to say, "How's the corn coming, Pop?" They drew Goofy's father in the design that Goofy had in his very first appearance in the 1920s cartoon Mickey's Revue, in which Goofy was originally named Dippy Dog.
Oh, that's like the Donkey Kong thing, where when they brought Donkey Kong back, and then the old Donkey Kong was like the original Donkey Kong, like Cranky Kong. But it would be more like Grandpa didn't change his clothes.
Yeah.
Grandpa has outdated fashion, so he has the fashion that Goofy wore way back then. Still.
Yeah.
In fact, in another episode of House of Mouse, in one of the Goofy shorts they show, we actually see Goofy's mother for a bit.
What?
Yeah.
There's no mothers in Disney.
Yeah. In fact, she was also mentioned in an episode of Goof Troop as well. Max wanted to see a horror movie, and Goofy wouldn't let him see it because he thought Max would be scared by it. When Max tried to deny that claim, Goofy retorted with, "Max, you can't watch Grandma stuff a chicken without getting faint."
Oh. All right. So Granddad and Goofy went to Yosemite, which everyone knows is a Mac OS.
No, I thought it was a Looney Tunes character.
And Goofy's just all full of warm fuzzies, and you can see it on his face. Like the grin.
Yeah. And then they're interrupted-ish by sound of
the car rocking.
Yeah. Bigfoot is coming aboard.
Settling down for sleep on the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice, comfortable metal surface that's not smooth or flat.
In an area where you like a camping pad, a tent, it's more of a expression of dominance than anything.
It just wants to hang out with them.
Yeah, he's like, can I have some soup? Perhaps it is not so much ape as he is feline.
He's feeling that cold metal car under him right now.
Yeah. Well, in the books I got, the text actually called him a marmoset.
What's a marmoset?
Sounds like a rodent. It's similar to a lemur.
Okay.
It's not similar to a marmot?
It's a New World monkey.
Whoa.
New World monkles.
I want a t-shirt that says New World Monkey with like the New World Order logo.
Oh, that reminds me. I was thinking that a good name for a band would be Hi Dad Soup. Cooler than Bowling for Soup.
And I wanted to say we interacted recently with a little dog that had no teeth, like Goofy's grandfather. And when a dog with no teeth bites you, it's weird.
It's a little strange.
7 out of 10 stars.
Is it gummy or?
Yeah, wet and gummy. It wasn't like gnawing on me. It was a quick bite.
Yeah, it'll still train you to not do whatever you were doing that caused the bite to happen.
Yeah,
but just out of weirdness.
So you're just staring at your finger like, ugh. Like, at least when it's a tongue, you like know what to expect. It's just like, ugh.
I remember having a conversation with, I think, my brother at one point. They were talking about during the zombie apocalypse, like what happens with the people with no teeth if you get bit by them.
Well, should we do a little reading out of the book?
Over the book.
I think we should.
Awesome.
Sure you remember, said Goofy. Well, you used to spell out sentences, like, hi, Dad. He looked at Max. Oh, I love you. Goofy stopped talking. Had he said too much? Pushed hard? Again, they sat in silence. With a start, Goofy remembered the soup. Using his 2 front teeth, he punched holes in the top. Wow, where'd you learn that? Asked Max, amazed. Goofy smiled. My dad taught me when we went camping. You two did a lot together, Max said. Max and Goofy never did anything together. Max didn't want to. And really, all Goofy wanted to do was hang out. Why am I so mean to him? Max wondered. Max started to apologize. I'm sorry. Goofy was talking at the same time. Listen. They both fell silent. Max took a sip from the can. When he handed it to Goofy, he had a soup mustache. Max looks just like a little boy, Goofy thought. My little boy. He felt a lump in his throat. What's wrong? Said Max. Nothing. Goofy-eyed Bigfoot curled up like a baby on the roof of the car. And that's where it ends for this minute.
Oh.
So it kind of spells out everything that was displayed through the body language.
Yeah. Although, one thing in particular stands out to me was Max and Goofy never did anything together. Well, okay, they sure did a ton of stuff together in Goof Troop.
Yeah. Yeah, recently. But
Yeah.
also they said, like, oh, man, you guys did a lot together. And it was like you went camping. You ate soup while you were camping. Goofy and his father might have only spent 1 weekend together, and they could have still had the same number of experiences that they're referencing. It would have been like, remember we went camping one time? And like that would be a lot of memories. Like, Max will have just as many memories after this trip as Goofy has communicated he has. Right?
Yeah, they didn't mention Yosemite in here.
Yeah.
Just the general camping.
They don't have the rights to Yosemite, Sam.
Probably. The Danish book that I mentioned earlier has this scene very differently. Again, I presume the author was going off the illustrations instead of the movie. Like, in this version, they're not actually parked in the car. They're driving away. Because the author didn't realize that Goofy had dropped his keys, so he misinterpreted the images of Goofy and Max in their car as actually driving away from Bigfoot.
They should look at the road more often. Stop making soup on the dash. It's dangerous.
So after they got the soup warming up, it says, while they waited for the food to warm, well, this is my translation. Okay. While they waited for the food to warm, Goofy reminded his son about other trips they had taken together. Trips that Max could hardly remember because he had been so little. Gosh, thought Max, have we really done so many fun things together? Then he smiled at his father for the first time on the whole trip, and Goofy smiled back greatly and dried away a single tear. Now it finally seemed like they would have fun.
Yeah.
That's like way more of a moment, even.
Yeah, they weren't talking about past trips they took. They were talking about experiences Goofy and his dad had. So the author must have misinterpreted that.
I would say that one thing that happens in this scene is Goofy is just existing for once. So, like, he just opens the soup because they want to eat soup. And then Max is, like, interested. Instead of being like, hey, Max, watch this, like he is all the other times. Like, hey, let me shove this in your face. And then, are you interested? Sometimes if you pull back a little bit, it'll draw others in. So when you're playing with a little kid, it's better to act like you're having fun than to, like, try to get them to have fun. But it would have been a lot more lame if he was like, my dad taught me this. Now I'm going to teach you this. Let's do all the same things my dad did. Are you hungry? Let's eat this soup.
Yeah.
Why don't you spell something out?
Yeah, I feel like this is when he started to realize that Pete's encouragement about being tough and firm just aren't working for him.
Under your thumb, Goof. Oh, one more thing is that when he opens the can, that's so great because it's not a big opening. It's able to vent so it can pour smoothly. This trick only works as a warning to our listeners. If your teeth are bigger in circumference, first off, you have to have 2 of them all on their own. But you have to be bigger in circumference than the letters are. Otherwise, the letters will just all get caught and it will just strain out the liquid. And also, it's better if you're a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Not flesh and blood.
Emphasis on that last.
So a good way to check and see if your cartoon character is to cut yourself and see if you bleed.
I got one more thing.
All right.
I found something interesting from the French version of the novel from back when Bigfoot was chasing them into their car. Goofy was still filming Bigfoot, and it was like, behold the big hairy beast and whatnot, both in the movie and in the English novel.
Mm-hmm.
I found in the French novel, rather than saying that while he films, he says, "This'll amaze Donald on my return."
Oh, cool.
So he mentions Donald a second time in the French version.
I bet him and Donald and Mickey don't hang out as much as they used to since he had kids.
Afterward.
Back in the old days, Mickey and Donald and I would hang out after the shoots and go to the bar and get wasted and do drugs.
Cheese Whiz. Yeah. Some of the books I have, it says that the Cheese Whiz is Bobby's favorite fast food. The book calls him a punk, and it says that the Cheese Whiz is all of the punk's favorite fast food. So it might not just be him alone who digs the stuff.
Yeah, you got that stuff, man. You guys doing Cheese Whiz in the alley?
They did pull it out of a brown paper bag, and it was obviously a fake out.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a G-rated movie.
Yeah. Takes out a spoon and a lighter, cooks up a little Cheese Whiz, and then eats hot Cheese Whiz.
Was the Leaning Tower of Pisa really there? Or was he imagining it?
Whoa. Is this whole movie a dream of Bobby's that he's rarely in?
This is Bobby's Cheese Whiz dream.
Is this Bobby's
Cheese Whiz
world?
Fever Dream. Cheese Whiz Fever Dream is my band name.
Cheese Whiz Fever. Well, that's all I got for this minute.
I think I'm done.
Yeah. Last thing I got is just a little self-promotion. Earlier when I said I was at Tampa Bay Comic-Con, I entered the talent show and performed live on stage, singing the song "On the Open Road" from this Goofy movie and doing all the character voices. So, anyone who was here to see that was pretty awesome.
And did you win this contest?
You could say that.
Yeah. I'll say it.
You won that contest. Would you like to sing the song?
The whole song?
If you feel like it.
Or your favorite excerpt, if you don't want to sing the whole song?
Well, I could.
Because there's no musical coming.
Yeah, I guess that does make it a little awkward.
Sing your favorite part with a few different voices so that everyone can get a taste of what it would have been like to be in that audience. 2018.
Do you need a break from modern living? Do you long to shed your weary load? If your nerves are on, your brain is fine, just grab a friend and take a ride together upon the open road. Come on, Maxie! Yep. All in all, I'd rather have detention. All in all, I'd rather read a toad. Ugh! And the old man drives like such a klutz that I'm about to hurl my guts directly upon the open road. There's nothing can upset me, 'cause now we're on our way. Trusty map will guide us straight and true. Roxanne, please don't forget me. I will return someday. Though I may be in traction when I do. Me and Max relaxing. This is worse than dragon breath. No body. I'm so mad. I think I may. When I see that highway, I could cry. You know, that's funny. So could I. Just being out on the open road.
Howdy, boys. Is this the way to Nashville?
Watch it, Max, or you'll be getting towed.
I'm in no hurry to arrive, 'cause I'll be turning 65 the next time I seize the open road.
Just a week of rest and relaxation.
Yeah!
And the odd romantic episode.
Very odd.
And it's California, your bus. Look out, dirtbags, eat my dust from now on. I on the open road.
It's me and Lionel Maxime, my pipsqueak pioneer. Their partners forever westward ho.
Yeehaw!
Someone call a taxi and get me out of here to Beverly Hills 90210. Oh, every day another new adventure. A mile, another new zip code. And the cares we've had are gone for good, and I'd go with them if I could. I got no strings on me. I'm feeling fancy free. Wonderful to be on the open road.
Bravo!
Yeah.
Well done.
And if anyone wants to contact Miles about voiceover work or something, what's email they could reach you at?
Reach me at mtinker90@gmail.com, sabrblade at yahoo.com, and sabrblade@unicron.com.
All right.
Cool. Yeah,
Nailing
thanks
those
for doing
voices.
that. Yeah, that was really impressive.
Good. All right. Well, check us out on Facebook. Do we still have that?
It's there.
Or Instagram.
All that social media is a bunch of fiddle faddle.
And send us an email at goofymovieminute@gmail.com. Go to moviesbyminutes.com, and check out all the Movies by Minute podcasts. But if you have limited time, just listen to this one. What? You're going to have to quit your job to do that. But maybe you should quit your job anyway if you're feeling unfulfilled.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, and then cut yourself to see if you're a cartoon or not. I'm full of good advice today. All right, well, until next time.
Is it soup yet?
Is it soup yet?
Hasta Luigi.
A Goofy Movie Minute is not endorsed by Walt Disney Pictures, Walt Disney Television Animation, or Disney Toon Studios. The podcast is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. A Goofy movie and all names, characters, images, and audio are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. You can get in contact with the podcast creators at agoofymovieminute@gmail.com. The Minute by Minute podcast format was created by Alex Robinson and Pete the Retailer at Star Wars Minute. You can find that podcast at starwarsminute.com.